Welcome to Maximal Being,
a podcast devoted to ditching fad diets and using real science to get you healthy and feeling great.
I'm Doc Mok, a GI and functional medicine doctor who harnesses the power of gut health to get you achieving your goals.
And I'm Jacky P, a well-informed layman who challenges the experts and asks the questions that you want.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button or leave a comment.
And now, on to the show. Hello, Maximal Beings. It is I, Jacky P, your favorite layman, or hopefully favorite. I'm still trying to be top 3. And of course, my co-hostess with the mostest, Docmok. Docmok, how are you today?
Oh, I am good. I mean, Jacky P, we are in the throes of holiday time. So there's all kinds of good vibes around, all kinds of good food. I don't know how you're feeling, but I feel like I survived Thanksgiving relatively unscathed. How about yourself?
I cannot say the same. I went to go see some friends up in New Hampshire, and I tell you, they make cooking a sport in all the right ways and the best ways. I mean, they were making pasta from scratch. Thanksgiving was a 7-course meal. I will be honest, I went in a little bit, but I did control myself with the desserts, and I did a lot of fasting, right? So like Thanksgiving Day, there was like a course at 2, and then we have a recess. I didn't have dinner, so I fasted that morning. I made everyone go for a nice long walk the day before and between courses to stay mobile. So I did everything within my control.
I feel like, you know, the whole year we're trying to get like an A+ in wellness, but like the holidays, it's like pass fail. You know, you're just showing up to class, putting on those glasses that have the big eyeballs on top of it.
It's like
trying to get through. You know?
It's like, are you here? Check. Okay, cool. You get credit. I definitely. I mean, I did. The good thing is they cook tons of vegetables. So like I had a lot of vegetables, but a lot of food, but how I am with my sweet tooth. So I did try every single one of the desserts. Those 3 desserts, I went in on all 3. They're all totally worth it. But I still feel I was net positive because I walked, I moved, I was chasing Quinn around still. And, I fasted, in the morning. So I didn't really, so I did the best that I can do, which is what really we all can do, right?
That sounds pretty good, Jacky P. I feel like, you get an A+ in my book every day.
You're too sweet. You're too kind. Yeah. So, but I'm back on the grind, right? We have those days, but since I've been back since Saturday, we've been fasting, back to my 8 to 12, back in routine. So now, also excited. I downloaded a couple recipes, some booch recipes.
Heck yeah.
Make some kombucha
right now.
So I'm gonna make some holiday kombucha. So we're good.
What's going on, Maximal Beings? It's Doc Mok here. Many of you are returning to the gym now, but some are not going back. Regardless of what you plan, Rogue has got the right gear to fit your needs. I personally own a barbell set and love it. The Black Ops shorts are sweat resistant and flexible for getting deep in your squats. Head on over to maximalbeing.com/rogue for our referral link. Order 3 items and they ship for free. And as usual, it's Doc Mok, and I'm here to maximize your pathway to wellness. If you're stuck at home and cannot make it to the grocery store, delivery may be the best way to stay clean and healthy. Instacart is the national leader in the direct-to-home delivery service. With numerous major chains and food from smaller stores, you can get those local veggies sent directly to your doorstep. Head on over to maximalbeing.com/Instacart and maximize your nutrition today.
Speaking of just, drinks and the holiday season, right? Doc, and merriment. I wanted to talk to you because I know we have some listener mail. So we can start off there, but then there's, of course, a lot of variety of things I want to clear up for the folks. So the first question from Monte, I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. They said, I thought red wine was good for your gut.
Yeah, and so what Monty was referring to is this video that I put up on Facebook, kind of talking about one of the worst things that you can do for your gut is to drink alcohol. I think that Monty, his thought process is right, right? Like Jacky P, I'm sure you've heard this, that like one glass of red wine at dinner is good for you. It's healthy. One beer at dinner is good for you. They don't ever talk about a shot of something, or but one drink is good for you. And what they're getting this from are, and we've talked about these cultures over and over again, are the blue zone cultures with all the 100-year-old plus people, in particular Sardinians. They all drink red wine at dinner time. They live a long time. But the rest of the picture is what should be explained, is that they move a lot, they have purpose in life, they have community, they eat tons and tons of vegetables, tons and tons of fish filled with omega-3.
Ooh-wee.
That's right.
Yes.
So it's not just the red wine. And so what Monte is talking about is, within red wine is a compound that gives it that dark, beautiful red, purpley color called resveratrol. Resveratrol, Jacky P, is a phytochemical. So it's a thing in a purple grapes that gives it that dark color, that gives it that kind of tannic taste. And when you put that compound in your body, it has numerous effects. It basically sends a signal to your cell that everything is fine. It activates a molecule called NRF2. And NRF2, I think of Nerf guns being kind of like benign if you get shot with one, down regulates your entire inflammatory cascade. So it's kind of like a dimmer switch for your inflammation. So resveratrol, Monte, really good for you. But the rest of it is the alcohol part, Jacky P. I mean, what are your thoughts about putting alcohol into your body? How does it make you feel? And, do you think that is
I mean, we could get personal. We can talk about our our little outing with alcohol a couple weeks ago.
Absolutely.
I brought my family to Cleveland to check out Shafe and his family.
Heck yeah.
And the last day, it was really cold outside. It was snowing. We had a fireplace going, and I was like, man, this is ripe for a nice cocktail, right? Some bourbon or something. And, we're just, talking and catching up and, having a good time. And I'd say we had 3, maybe 4 in that afternoon.
Yeah.
And, and I don't want to sound like, I don't want to be braggadocious here, but like, we definitely weren't drinking like bottom shelf liquor. We're drinking pretty good quality, bourbon and whiskey, mixed drinks.
Only the best for good friends, right?
Hey, and I respect that. And I thank you, because they were really good. But I think both of us the next day,
little frosty.
Well, yeah. We were like, hey, I was like, do you not feel great? And he was like, yeah, I don't feel great.
No.
So yeah, I mean, even, and then we're both, we're responsible, we like to think we're maximal beings. We're drinking tons of water, but it's just when you put good stuff in your body more, and then your body reacts even worse to the bad stuff. So I am not a big alcohol person. I'm not against it at all, because like I said, I love bourbon. I love a good drink and a cocktail, and hear a story behind it. My body disagrees. My body does not like it.
Me
so,
too. Oh my God.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, we both had a rough start the following day. And I mean, that was pretty much it. But hey, to each his own. Everyone has different bodies. So, they say red wine, right? They say a glass of red wine isn't that bad for you, right? But we are also, right, maximal being, right? The entire picture is not just the red wine, it's also the OMG omega-3, right? Are you getting those good foods in you? Are you eating whole healthy foods, right? Because then if you have that defense in your system, sure, like having a glass of wine, is it gonna like do terrible things to you? But if you had fast food for breakfast, fast food for lunch at work, because you're busy, and then maybe you had one good meal, maybe you might want to look at how much alcohol you're putting in your system.
Yeah. And I mean, of the things that you can do to your gut to damage both your microbiome, taking out the good guys, upregulating the bad guys, poking holes in your mucosal barrier, causing, intestinal permeability issues. So, those bacteria can kind of wiggle their way through your intestine into your bloodstream and cause inflammation. Alcohol is like probably number one, if not stress, one of the two of those things. And guess what happens when you don't sleep all night because you've drank alcohol? Your body is like, help, I'm stressed.
Yeah.
You upregulate cortisol, you worsen that leaky gut. And that's why we both felt frosty, kind of, grumpy the next day. And we talked about this in a prior podcast episode about stopping drinking, the way that you feel after you stop, how long you should stop. So I want all the listeners and the people watching this to go back to those episodes and re-listen to those, because it's good to have that perspective.
Yeah. And I agree. And you brought up a point I forgot. You mentioned I was up like every hour, and I was like, oh my God, so was I. Like, we fell asleep great. We had a great day, had great dinner, good time. But yeah, I was up every 45 minutes too on top of that. So my sleep was a wreck. And then, so yeah. So, just yeah.
And it messes up your sleep in not just one way, right? It's not only like interfering with your brain waves by, so you have this thing called phosphatidylcholine. It's a molecule that freely passes through your blood-brain barrier, the thing that like filters your blood, keeps your brain safe from bad stuff. So you get holes poked in that barrier, so that can go through. And then alcohol kicks off the choline and binds to the phosphatidyl and sticks around in your body for somewhere between 10 to 14 days after that one drink. So you're not only is your sleep going to be messed up that one night, and you're going to be peeing because of the effects on diuretic hormone made by the kidneys, but you're also going to be messed up for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's about where we are now.
Yeah, I know, right? And not to mention, we're not, this whole episode is not on alcohol, but
no.
The folks out there who are out there for the gains and you're working out and taking the protein supplements, go back and listen to our alcohol episode. They talk about how that affects that too. So I'm telling you, alcohol creeps into everything. But let's move on. We have more questions, and I don't want to, even though I love talking about all this stuff, but I want to make sure we cover all of our questions. Yeah. So Elisa, I'm sorry if I mispronounce it. What is your fiber of choice for gut health?
And I love her name too, because the total nerd in me is just like, ELISA is this test that is a type of test that you do in science to prove or disprove many, many things. So I'm just like, I don't know if there's any sort of like link there, if it actually is just Elisa. But sorry, I had to pull my nerdiness out there for a minute.
In my brain, I heard Eliza, and I'm thinking of Hamilton. So just two different brains.
Which is a great play, by the way.
This is good, fantastic play. Yeah.
And King Richard, totally my favorite character, undoubtedly. He's hilarious.
Best.
Yeah,
he's the best. Yeah.
But as a gastroenterologist, people come in and they're not pooping, or they're pooping too much. And the undoubtable common thread in this is fiber. And what fiber are these compounds that exist in nature that our bodies can't actually break down into other things and assimilate into a part of us. They stay within your intestinal tract. And there are two types of fibers, soluble and insoluble fibers. Soluble fibers tend to be a little bit more gelatin-like, insoluble like a kiwi. And insoluble tends to be something that's a little more, structure to it. Like, think about a celery stick, right? There are a ton of foods that are rich in fiber. So you have like lentils, legumes, flaxseed has a lot of it. But most people, due to marketing, think that like fiber equals grains, right? I have to have my healthy grains, my healthy cereals to get my fiber. And it's like a really low bar, Jacky P. It's like the recommended daily allowance in America is 20 grams in a day, when people like really should eat 50. I eat 50 to 60 personally. Yeah, I bet you do too. And you need that to properly move your bowels, right? If you have just gunk waste products sitting in your body, it's not good for your body, right? You need things to move along. Think about like a waste treatment plant. If there's a backup or a problem in the system, that waste is going to sit there and corrode the pipes. And that's not good, right? You don't want your pipes to be corroded. So I think that, instead of reaching for that fiber, that cereal, or a trade name like psyllium husk is kind of the go-to medicine that all GI doctors prescribe, give something that not only will be good for moving things along, but also good for your microbiome. So I say lots and lots of vegetables, lots and lots of different colors, diversity, a good thing. Or you can go with something like a citrus pectin or FOS, fermentable oligosaccharides. And these things both serve as fiber, but also fuel for your gut microbiome. Like they just eat that stuff up and they love it. And the good guys love it. And you'll kind of push out the bad guys. So citrus pectin, FOS, inulin are probably my big three that I go to.
So where would you get those? Are those just nutrition store, over the counter, anywhere?
Any of the above. Yeah,
Okay.
really. Yeah. And I mean, even, you can find these sorts of things in nature, right? If you eat certain fruits and vegetables, you will get some of these compounds in your food. So citrus fruits in particular is where you get citrus pectin from. Now you have to have some of the rind a little bit in there too. So when you're peeling apart an orange, all of that pith, that like white stuff in between, that's the good stuff for your gut microbiome. But you can get it in any store, any health food store, or if you need help with that, you can hit us up at team@maximalbeing.com.
Good to know. Good to know. More questions. There's more also, I'd say, related in the same.
Yeah.
And this, so a good friend of mine, I would say he probably eats the healthiest of anyone I know, just by collateral damage. Like he doesn't have a sweet tooth, and I might mention to you, but he says he can't fit more than 2 meals in his body. Like he eats once. If he eats once within 2 hours, his bowels are moving, or if he has another meal within 2 hours, his bowels are moving.
Yep.
And he thinks that's a bad thing, right? Like, and it's not, diarrhea or anything like that. He thinks that's a bad thing. I think it's a sign of inefficient system. But I am not a almost world-renowned published GI doctor. So I'm gonna ask you, what are your thoughts on that, DocMok?
Yeah, and as an aside, I'm so proud of our recent publication that we did with Lee O'Kewen on, the difficulties with different ethnic groups and getting to clinical trials for pancreatic cancer. So that's out in surgery if any of you want to nerd out and think about our society as a whole. But anyway, and I lost my train of thought, but but what you're talking about, Jacky P, is called the gastrocolic reflex. And any one of my patients that are chronically backed up would trade places with your friend in a hot second. I have patients come to me though, like your friend, who say like, I eat food and I see it in the toilet bowl instantly. That is impossible. There is no way that your body can do that. Even with the fastest of throughput, like you're still having your food travel the distance of an NBA regulation basketball hoop. And then if you stretch your arms out, that distance is the length of your colon, most likely. So NBA regulation basketball hoop height, that's your small intestine and your colon length. And it's not doing that within seconds. Sorry. But you have this reflex built in your system to get rid of stuff while you're eating stuff. In particular, if you eat fat, it will signal this reflex. And basically, when your stomach blows up and contains fat, it will send a signal to the end of your colon like, look, we got a big meal coming. We have Thanksgiving dinner. We got to get this stuff out of here now. And so your friend probably just has an overdeveloped gastrocolic reflex, or he eats a lot of fat in his diet, whether it be healthy or non-healthy.
Oh, good to know. I'll make sure he listens. I'm not going to give him the answer, and say, hey, you got to listen if you want this answer. Okay. So we talked about that. We talked about fiber. And then that struck a chord that I have some questions as the layman. Because, you know, you said something about the heart healthy grains, right? And no, it was mentioned before once upon a time about like cereal, right? You've gotten me off of cereal, even though cereal is possibly one of my favorite things in the world.
You're welcome.
Thank you, and not thank you. Sometimes, you know, I don't know, the ignorance is bliss sometimes, but you're right. You know, it's definitely something after reading what goes into these things and the amount of sugar. I'm glad I'm off of that stuff.
And it was a tough process. I mean, he was shivering in the corner.
Yeah, I had to dial it back. Yeah, I had, you know, speaking of which, you know, I should talk to people about like what I actually went through, because people don't understand. Like, I mean, some people do, but it's a thing, man. Sugar is a mean thing. And, you know, I know people say addiction and everything, but like, I remember when I was like cutting back in sugar, like I literally would be like, I would just go put literally a spoonful of sugar in my mouth. Like that's how bad I was craving sugar. I was like, I'm just gonna go to the pantry, right? Because my wife, she has sugar with her coffee. I was like, I'm just gonna take a scoop, just put some sugar. Like that's it. Like that's, and then like that thought came across my mind a lot. Thankfully, I never did it. I never did it. I stayed strong. Yeah. But because then I'd be like, are you really the guy who just like goes and just eats a spoonful of sugar?
But taking the credit card and like, it's only
dice it up a little. It's just a little bit. It's fine. I could stop whenever I want. But you know, the cereal industry, I mean, has the market, I would say, cornered on fake healthy. Like, hey, right, you said it yourself, heart healthy grains.
Yes.
You know, low sugar, right? They'll say high fiber, and you look, it's like 2 grams of fiber per serving.
Yeah.
Like what? I mean, I don't even know where to start with that. Like, what is something? I mean, I think we've made it clear that, like, okay, like cereal as a whole is probably not the best thing, right? But let's, you know, people enjoy cereal. I do. Like, what is like something to look for in the cereal, if there is something, to make sure, like, okay, it's not, you know, a sugar in a bowl. It is not the best thing for you, but it's also not the worst thing for you.
Yeah. So I think like have that discussion with yourself. Like, why am I eating this? Is it just like a flavor thing? Can I make something that's healthier? Or am I looking for this specific product because it makes me think of my childhood? It's like a comfort sort of thing. So, I mean, I think the good places to look are at the back of the box with ingredients. And we've talked about this tons of times. Like, you know, can you pronounce the ingredients? Are there emulsifiers? Are there additives? Are there preservatives in your food? Also, like, what is in the food? If the key ingredient is a grain, do you know where that grain is coming from? Is it dwarf wheat that like your body will not recognize as real food? Has it been sprayed down with pesticides and, you know, chemicals like glyphosates that are going to increase your risk of cancer? These are all questions that you ask yourself, but, you know, look at the ingredients and think about where those ingredients come from. And I would say that if you're going to pick something that's grain based, you know, there are better grains to choose from. So I would choose any type of rice. And then it's a legume, but quinoa is probably better, or even oats is better than a lot of the gluten containing grains like wheat, rye, and barley. For the reason that there's so many of you out there that are probably gluten sensitive, and, you know, you're not like that guy on YouTube that's making fun of gluten sensitive people. Like, it is a real condition. I've seen damage endoscopically, biopsied people, and we proved that they have gluten sensitivity. So, I mean, that, and then sugar content, like what is the sugar content per serving and what is the serving size? Usually we're talking a serving size of cereal is like a quarter cup.
Yeah.
Have you ever eaten a quarter cup of cereal?
If you are Jacky P, 1 serving size of cereal is literally 1 spoon. That's like literally I looked at a cereal that will remain unnamed.
Yeah.
And I saw the serving size and I saw how much sugar it was.
Yeah.
And essentially it was like a bowl that I eat because of who I am as a person. I'm a Sasquatch, so I eat more food than average.
He's so tall.
Was like basically a bowl that I would eat was like drinking like 3 cans of soda, like a bowl. And in a bowl that literally, because of who I eat and how I eat, I would knock that thing down in like 2 minutes. So it was been like I was enjoying it. Like it was been like, like when we had our bourbons and our drinks, we really talked about the drink, and he told me the really cool stuff about the breweries, and it was an experience. And that was the entire afternoon. Like I'd have 3 sodas essentially in less than 5 minutes.
Oh man, your insulin was like, whoa, like, prepare.
Yeah, that's when I knew. I was like, okay, this I should probably stop this. This is
And I mean, those of you that want to like maintain weight, 25 to 50 grams of sugar in a day. If you want to lose weight, 25 grams or less is an ideal thing. And of the things that we ask people to track, that is a big one. So you nursing yourself out of the sugar addiction, that is huge. I mean, I applaud you for that. It is a drug.
It is for sure a drug, and it's completely illegal. Completely illegal.
Paleo, keto, vegan, and carnivore. Maybe you've tried them all, but did you have success? Are you still doing that diet? Turns out there's not just one diet right for one particular person. By understanding how your body works and the relationship behind your body's workings and these diets, you can then approach the perfect plan for you. In the Perfect Human Diet course, we talk to you about your body's inner workings and the pros and cons of each plan. We discuss how our ancestors ate and have eaten, and lay a framework to tailoring a plan that is perfect for you. To learn more about the Perfect Human Diet course, head to maximalbeing.com/courses to find out more. And as always, I'm Doc Mok, and I'm here to maximize your health. You cannot supplement your way to health, but there are things that we need to add to our lives that can maximize our pathway to wellness. The American diet is virtually devoid of omega-3 fatty acids, which play a major role in cardiovascular disease, gut permeability, and mental health. Personally, I take omega-3s every night, and iHerb is the best place for clean, natural sources of supplements. I love the ZenWise omega-3 fatty acid supplement, which is free of fish burps and good for the environment. Head on over to maximalbeing.com/iHerb, that's IHERB, and enter the code B as in boy, D as in dog, B as in boy, 5528, and receive 10% off your orders for all supplements. Maximize your supplements with iHerb.
But that reminds me, speaking of cereal side, I was looking at protein bars, right? When we were driving to Cleveland, I stopped. I didn't have breakfast. I was looking for like just something just to put some in my body. And I typically like the RX bars. The bars are just like, hey, there's 2 eggs in this, a piece of fruit. Like they tell you there's like 5 ingredients.
Yeah.
But I was looking at the other things, and then I didn't know if they were actual protein bars or if they were
a Hershey bar. Oh, sorry.
Or a Hershey bar.
Yeah,
I was like,
bar.
Yeah, or a chocolate bar.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there's like, we do need sugar. Our bodies do need sugar. Our bodies do need carbs.
Yeah.
Right. And I was thinking, okay, maybe it's because after a workout, your body's like looking for this stuff more. But like protein bars, right? Like, would you say it's along the same line? Like the protein bar, you're looking for protein, right? Like, is there any instance where they're like, oh, because you're working out and, your body's like craving a certain macro more? Is that like a thing?
Yeah, we did a deep dive on this topic exactly, because I'm big into fasting, and, I wanted to make sure that I supply people with the proper like information, because the concept of fasted exercise is definitely out there, and you 100% can do that. But what the research shows is that you compare people that did fasted exercise and continue to fast versus people that did fasted exercise and immediately eat a meal that has adequate protein and carbohydrate, that the group that had protein and carbohydrate not only felt better on a very simple like wellness score, but also performed better over the study time period of 6 months. So, I mean, and even I would go to the extreme of saying that there are data that show that if you biopsy the musculature of people that do fasted exercise and then don't replenish with a nutrient afterwards, that they actually do get some degree of muscle breakdown and wasting. And they've done this both with muscle biopsy as well as measuring the breakdown products of muscle in the bloodstream after workouts. So, if you are going to do fasted exercise, make sure you do give your body those nutrients, which is where the protein bars come in, right? Because it's like tons of simple carbs, usually a good amount of protein, and that's pretty much it. But the problem is that, like, what are you actually eating? What makes that sugary coating on the outside? Why does it taste so good? It's probably from all the chemicals and garbage. So you probably just negated your exercise if you eat something like that.
Yeah. Mentally, for me, I like to feel that something is healthy. Like, and it might be like elementary thinking, but I can't eat a protein bar after a workout that tastes like strawberry cheesecake.
Yeah.
Even though I would love strawberry cheesecake, that's a fantastic flavor, and cheesecake's fantastic.
Yeah.
But like, if I just worked out and I'm feeling like the healthiest I am, I got a great sweat going. I was like, if you told me it was like pure natural, they just somehow got it, like, I still wouldn't even be able to mentally enjoy it. Cause like, this is candy.
Yeah, I'm with you too. And I love that, like, endorphin feeling that you get after you exercise. You just feel good. You're like skipping around, or at least I skip around. I mean, I don't want to speak for both of us, but
skipping burns calories. I skip all the time, actually. So
and sometimes with these calves, like, you just skip and you don't mean to, you
can't help it.
Yeah, it's like the upward acceleration, but
exactly. Yeah. That heel hits the ground and you instantly get like 4 or 6 inches of height. You're like, whoops. It's like, sheesh.
Yeah. But when you like introduce garbage food afterwards, you're just like, it just like brings all of that down. So that's why it's like, listen to your body about what agrees with you, what doesn't agree with you. And you may think that protein bar is making you feel good, but try not having all of that sugar for a few weeks and then re-challenge with sugar and see how you feel. You feel poison,
You will. I can tell you firsthand, you will feel it. If you're really being mindful about how you feel, how you wake up in the morning, how you sleep, and how you just feel throughout the day, you will. Okay, back to more things that we think is healthy, but isn't, or if done wrong, isn't. Stretching, right?
Yeah.
I always thought, hey, I don't feel like I'm old, but my body is definitely telling me, like, you're not 20 anymore.
Same.
So like, like, I got to warm up. I got to stretch. I wake up in the morning. I stretch for 20 minutes. It's like brushing my teeth. I wake up in the morning, I stretch, brush my teeth, get my day going. And same thing at night. Before I go to bed, I brush my teeth and I stretch. All right. But that might be not the best thing to do if it's before a workout, right? I mean, do you want to kind of like break that down for us, Doc?
Yeah. I mean, my gym teacher in school was named Mr. Glass. And I remember when we were like, when we were kids in gym class, you go in there and you're going to do whatever, run a mile or play some game that they made up because they're all hungover that day.
Yeah. Classic. Yeah. Too many bourbons.
Yeah. But yeah, they'd be like, bend down and touch your toes and do the windmill. And like, you're just doing these things and you're a kid and you don't know any differently. And then, if you play in sports, like, you continue to do those things and like, you don't know any better. But actually, again, Jacky P, I had to nerd out and look at the research. So when randomized to what we call static stretching, which is the gym teacher bend down, touch your toes before an exercise, or doing dynamic stretching, which is what Jacky P does with things like foam rolling, even moving around and getting the blood flowing, compression, or what we call flossing, where you're like moving your joints around with a band attached to it and getting the joint in different realms, or using a lacrosse ball. The people that did the dynamic stretching had improved performance in their lifts. And most of these studies looked at, singular lifts. So either stretching and then deadlift, stretching and then squat. And all of these people that did the dynamic stretching had improved 1 rep max over the study period, again, about 3 to 6 month time period.
Wow.
Your gym teacher was wrong.
Your gym
Again.
teacher is wrong. We should revisit these practices more regularly because it took me a while to figure out. Thankfully, RN Graham, when he set me up with the fitness thing, like all my stretches and stuff were dynamic, and I didn't know why. I just thought that's just what he did. And if you see how he looks, he's yoked. You do whatever he does because the way he looks.
Exactly.
But I didn't know the science behind it. That's good to know.
That's right.
So stretch, folks. It's good for you. I tell you right now. There was something else I wanted to talk to you about, Doc Mok, but for the life of me, I can't remember.
Yeah, I mean, I think we covered some really good things. Like, all of you are heading into the holiday season. You just survived Turkey Day in varying levels of pass fail, and don't call it a wash in between now and December 25th, or right now is Hanukkah. Take the time to recalibrate your health on that interim period, because it's not an all or nothing thing. You can still get points in between with your health. And so if you need help with that, you can shoot us an email at team@maximalbeing.com. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, leave us a comment, and we would love to answer your questions as we did today. Jacky P, I love our talks, our fact vomits here, where we kind of just hash out things. We've got to keep doing this. So I look forward to sharing a lot of these with you.
You as well, Doc Mok. You're always just, your nerdiness is something just to be treasured. And I always appreciate you giving us the facts, right? Facts are the law, right? So as always, I am Jacky P, being your layman and navigating you through this nerdy science that Doc Mok loves to swim around with. And Doc Mok, thank you. Everyone listening, have a wonderful end of the year season in whatever you celebrate and whatever you do. And remember, it's not pass or fail, right? Doc Mok said it. So we're here to maximize your being. Bye.
What's going on, Maximal Beings? Doc Mok here. If you haven't done so already, leave us a comment and hit the subscribe button. Let your friends and family know. That way we can get the word out and continue to bash the bro science.